Hi, my name is Abby Nimick, and today I'll be talking about the cell membrane structure. So, there are many parts of the membrane. Today I'll be talking about phospholipids, proteins, sterols, and carbohydrates. So the phospholipid part of the membrane is the hydrophilic phospholipid heads on both sides and the hydrophobic phospholipid tails in the middle. So the location of the phospholipids, it makes up most of the protein. The heads and the tails are on both sides and they face towards each other. So the tails go towards each other and the heads are away from each other. Head groups, so the top and bottom portion of this. The location is outside of the membrane and on the inside of the membrane. So the outside and the inside. Phospholipid heads line the membrane, outside, inside. They are hydrophilic, meaning that they enjoy water or they have an affinity for water. And the fatty acid tails are in between the phospholipid heads, and they are hydrophobic. The movement of phospholipids, they move laterally and they move in a flip-flop across manner. So they move side to side and they can flip across. Next is proteins. So the integral proteins is this blue structure in the middle. The location is embedded within the membrane. It can be this is just a portion and it can be all along the membrane. The R groups are hydrophobic. That's why they're in the middle. And they do move laterally, but they do not flip-flop across. The peripheral proteins, here shown on the bottom, peripheral membrane proteins are usually attached to the surface of integral proteins. Therefore, they are both on they're on both faces of the lipid bilayer. So they can be on the top, but I drew it on the bottom. And they can, they are hydrophilic. They have polar head groups of the lipid molecule. They can move laterally, but they cannot move in a flip-flop manner. So they cannot flip-flop, but they can move laterally. Sterols, in this case, the green substances are sterols. They are cholesterol. So the location is interwoven in hydrophobic tails of phospholipids. So, as I said before, the green are the cholesterols. They're extremely hydrophobic, and they can move in a lateral movement and a flip-flop across movement. The last part of the membrane structure that I will be talking about today are the carbohydrates. So they're typically covalently linked to proteins or lipids known as glycoproteins or glycolipids. These are used for cell-to-cell recognition, and they are found on the outer surface of the cell membrane. So in this case, it's connected to either a protein or a lipid, and this is how cells see each other or communicate with each other for recognition. So they are normally a 2 to 60 monomer chain that creates the carbohydrate. They are hydrophilic and they can move in a lateral fashion, but they do not flip-flop across the membrane. So these are cytoskeleton filaments on the inside of the membrane. Again, this is the outside of the membrane, inside of the membrane. So that's our membrane. Thank you.